Lori, I'm so glad you're with me tonight. Welcome.
Thank you. It's so good to be here.
Absolutely. So we've got that Georgia connection, even though you live in Alabama now. We won't hold it against you. No, I'm just kidding. But you know how Georgia and Alabama can be back and forth. But tell everybody who you are and where you're from and what you do creatively.
Well, I'm Lori Tatum. I am living I'm not from here. I'm originally from Florida, from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. But we're living in Huntsville, Alabama. I've been here almost a year now. And I am an oil painter. So,
Awesome. Awesome. So grew up in a creative family, always been an artist, or how did that begin to
no,
blossom in your life?
not at all. When I was a little girl, I used to play around and I could draw anything as a little girl. My mom died when I was 8, and
Wow.
I never had anybody to really encourage me in the
Mm,
arts. And so I had to grow up overnight, and basically just it went by the wayside. And every time I would see somebody creating or doodling or anything, I would be like, oh, I wish I could do that.
right,
I
right.
really, really want to do that. It was always inside of me, but I was scared to death. I just had major fear around it because I was raised in a home where my dad was a real perfectionist, and
Mm,
everything had to be just perfect or it wasn't good enough. If it's worth doing at all, it's worth doing well, right?
right, right, right.
I love being in created to thrive. That I can't remember who said it, but if it's worth doing at all, it's worth doing poorly until you can
Yeah. Yeah. Just
you
get
can learn it.
started, right? Just do it,
Right,
right?
right, exactly. I love that. But anyway, so I never really pursued my creativity, but always was always envious of people who did. And when I'd go by a landscape or just anywhere that I thought was beautiful, I thought, oh,
Sure.
I'd love to paint that. Always afraid. I
Mm.
was 49, almost 50 years old before I picked up my very first pencil.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've been doing this about 8 years. I started at almost 50, started with pencils, got into colored pencils, then pastels, then was always afraid to pick up a paintbrush. And we went to Tennessee we were at an art show. We were just visiting with had like a little reunion there, and there was a little art show. We went and checked out the art show, and there was this lady that had abstract paintings all over the place and super, super cool. And my husband, he just has believed in me since day one. And so he was asking all the artists in the little complex there, hey, what do you think you can talk to my wife? Would you talk to
Yeah.
my wife? And I mean, he was asking all of the artists if they would just talk to me. And anyway, we finally found one that she's like, man, if she wants to come learn how to paint, tell her to come the next day. The only time I've ever painted with another artist and had like lessons.
Wow.
And it actually wasn't even a lesson. It was like, come and play.
Just
And
show up, right? That's
yes,
right.
and I was afraid to pick up the paintbrush. So the
Wow.
first time I picked up that paintbrush, we did 4 paintings in acrylic, and they were beautiful. And I was so scared, but they were beautiful. And it kind of got me going. And so then I pursued painting, and yeah, so
So
yeah,
did something start to rise up in you like, okay, I can, even
mhm,
though I'm kind of freaked out, I can do this. Like this
yeah,
is a thing. This is possible. And
that's right. So I started practicing, and it's been a passion of mine just to learn. I've lived, breathed, ate everything art. I mean, YouTube, you name it. Never had a class, but yeah. So I'm doing the thing, doing it.
how awesome. So as you're kind of waking up, how did Created to Thrive come into that journey? What even caused you to even look for that?
Well, actually, gosh, I mean, I could share so much. I'm trying to think of the important stuff, right? Um, but a few years ago, we lived in Colorado, and I had an art gallery. And that's where I really started pursuing art as a business.
Mm,
The gallery wasn't for me. We had 21 artists, and I basically curated the, art that came in and out. And I literally got paid for my art education because
yeah,
I've been really business minded for a very long time because I've been, in the business world. I had
sure.
my own business for several years. And when we went to Colorado and I decided to open this art gallery, I had the artists come in and give classes, and I got paid for half of the amount that they
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they paid me for my venue. And so I got paid, and I would just look over my shoulder at, like, listen to what they were saying and watch the easel and watch what they were doing while I was
Yeah.
sitting in the front. So I basically got paid to get my education from these
I
artists.
love that. I
Great.
love that.
Well, we moved away, and we've been in ministry on and off for years. And anyway, we got called to Albany to be in the ministry there. And so we pastored a church, and basically I was kind of miserable the whole
Mm,
time because
mm,
all I wanted to do was art.
yeah.
And my heart was for the people, but I just knew there was something more, something more.
Yeah.
So when we moved to Huntsville, we moved around a lot, but when we moved to Huntsville, I don't know what it was. I just really got into that real good practice of being in my studio every single day. And
Right.
I'm in the studio 6 to 8 hours every
Right.
single
Which
day.
makes all the difference, right? In your
Yes,
growth and all that. Yeah.
huge, huge.
Yeah.
So just learning and learning. And my husband happened to be on Facebook, and I don't know why he gets all this artist stuff. I don't get anything, but he gets all the art feeds and everything.
Welcome to the algorithm, right? My
Yes,
wife gets my tennis shoes that I'm looking for on
right.
hers, and I get her things on mine.
Yeah. I think it's because he shares my artwork, so they think
Yeah,
he's
sure.
interested. So anyway, he saw the big, painted face that said the master program or
Yeah.
whatever. So um I was super excited about it, and I tuned in just because I thought it was just a master class. I mean,
Yeah.
I really didn't know it was a Christian thing. I didn't know anything about it. It's
Showed
an
up.
artist
Yeah.
rise up. So yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of had an idea. Took the class, and absolutely it was like, this is what I've been waiting for.
Wow.
This is what I've been waiting for all these years, because I knew that I was called to be an artist. I knew that that calling was in me from childhood, because it was a dream that I had as a little girl. And once I started pursuing my art, the Lord spoke to me and said, I am going to restore everything that was lost from you. And I'm going to start crying. Okay. But
I love it. I love it.
he said that he was bringing all of my childhood dreams back into fulfillment,
Mm.
and that
Wow.
I was going to start living exactly what I was designed for. And so I knew that I was designed to do this. And obviously the skill level wasn't there, but I knew that the more you do it, the more you learn, right?
Right. Right. Right.
I knew that the potential was there, and that God was big enough to bring that out of me. But I lost my train of thought now.
Well, I was just going to say, I think it's so beautiful how the Lord rolled back the tape,
Yes,
to that little 8-year-old girl and
yes,
all the dreams and things that you had in your heart that, of course, when a trauma happens like that, the enemy's right there to try to take advantage of that and steal dreams and kill hope and all that kind of stuff. And the Lord's like, nope, we're going to roll the tape back to that
right,
point, and all the things that I promised you, we're gonna see fulfilled in this hour. And
right.
I just
And
love that he's so good like that, isn't he?
yeah, he's great. And so when when I did that, looked at that Creative to Thrive class, the master class, I realized that this is exactly what I was looking for, because I knew the art was in me.
Yeah.
I had been working on my heart, as far as my relationship with the Lord, and all of that was good. I know who I am in Christ. I mean, all of that is in order. And I have a good business sense.
Yeah.
But back up a little bit, I had a website a couple of years ago, and somebody hacked into it. It got
Mm.
destroyed. And so I pretty much gave up at that point, because I had put so much into the business part of it. And I thought, maybe I'm not supposed to do this as a business.
Mhm.
And I just kind of gave up, never pursued a website again or anything. And then when I saw when I looked into this master class,
Yeah.
to Thrive, I thought, this is what I need to bring me to the next level. And as soon as I started in the creative, and I didn't have the money either,
Right.
but I went ahead and just said, I'm going to make this investment, and I'm
Yeah.
going to do it. And I'll tell you what, the day after I made that investment to do it, I got my first commission. Somebody out of the clear blue called me up.
Everybody thinks I make these stories up. Like
Yeah.
we've not talked before. Like I'm like, this is not pre-planned. Like, I'm just amazed tonight. It's just like, and then God provided. Boom.
And that story before, Shannon, is that what her name was?
Yeah,
Shannon
yeah.
or Sharon. Oh my goodness, what an amazing
I
story.
know, exactly. And you're like, boom again.
Well, I mean, I had my first commission and it paid for I didn't well, okay, back I'm like getting a little bit ahead of myself. I actually had that person call me up several days before she wanted me to do this artwork for her.
Yeah.
And before I ever did the master class. And I told her I would do it for free. So this is exactly how it happened. I told her I would do it for free because I was giving work away. I wasn't going to pursue this as a business. I said, God, you've put this in me. I know that I'm supposed to do this.
Right.
But, it's just a hobby. It's not something I'm supposed to make money at.
Downplaying it.
Significant. It's just something along the side because we're called to ministry and, I'm going to be in the ministry, I'm just whatever. And, just total false idea.
Yeah.
And so she had commissioned me to do this, well, actually for free. After I signed up for this class, the very next day she called me up and she said, I want to pay you $400 to do this. So she paid me. She says, what would you normally charge? I said, well, I wouldn't. You're free, $400. So I said, Jean, I want you to know what I did just yesterday. I made an investment into my future.
Wow.
By signing up, and I paid for the whole year, and I didn't have money. I mean, I did have the money set aside, but it was going to take up all my art supplies.
Yeah.
And I thought, I got to have some art supplies, because I maintain my own account.
Yeah, sure.
And so I said, no, it's worth it because if this really works, which I believe God was calling me to do it, that he'll make the difference.
Yeah.
So she called me the next day and said, I want to pay you $400 to do this. So I told her, I said, I made this investment in myself. It was $900 or almost $1,000. I don't know. And I said, I was nervous about it. I said, but guess what? That's going to pay for almost half of it. I'm so excited. Then about a week later, I got another commission for Christmas. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. I was so excited.
Like, I was used to this. This is great.
Yeah. Well, and then after that happened, like right before Christmas, I was starting to get really busy. And I thought, because I was into the program and I'm like really, starting to put the work together and everything. And one of the aha moments that I had, we were on our way to on an airplane and I was reading your book on prophetic art. Mm-hmm. What is prophetic art? Yeah. And it showed me, and this is where the whole thing totally threw me in the right direction, was that book showed me that my artwork isn't just artwork. Yeah. It's not just a hobby.
That's right.
It's not just something God put into me, which it definitely is. But what it is every time I create, it puts the very nature of God goes into my artwork.
Yeah.
And his life.
In and through you. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. His life, his light, his nature, it all is out there when my artwork is out there. And I thought, I can't be selfish and keep that myself or just give it to one person here and there. I got to get it out there because when people see it, they can be delivered, they can be transformed. And I mean, when that revelation hit me, I thought, I got to do this. This is my calling. This is my voice,
Absolutely.
And so this is a whole new way of ministry in a way, and it's complete. It's full, So I realized that, and I'm in the program and I'm busy. Then I get another call and it's this lady. She saw one of my posts on Facebook and she said, hey, listen, Lori, she said, I think your lights and shadows are fantastic. I want to commission you to do a ginormous piece for me. And I said, okay. It was the biggest piece of artwork I have ever painted.
Wow.
And it was 7 foot by 5 foot.
Get out.
Yeah. And
wow.
$4,000. And I should have charged more, hindsight, but still $4,000. That's the most money I've ever made on one single painting.
Wow.
Wow. And so while in Created to Thrive, I built a website from scratch, and with your help, thank you. I think it's finally now where it needs to be.
Good.
Yeah. And I ended up selling a piece of artwork off of my website before Christmas. And it was a Christmas card that I sent out that I painted, and it spurred her on to go to the website. When she went on the website, she saw the actual piece and bought it. And then after the first of the year, I've already had my first sale off the
Wow.
website. So
Wow.
things are just going. They're just moving. It's great.
I'm just so encouraged by this tonight. I mean, this is the most fun for me about doing all this. I mean, we love getting new members, but I'm like, I love hearing these stories like
It's
this.
great. It's great. I mean, your class has been so great. The community is great. All of the lessons. I mean, it's better than any kind of college course you could ever take. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't know. It's incredible.
Well, Lori, there's still people out there right now, 3.5 hours left to become a member, and they're on the
Don't
fence.
waste
They're like,
time.
I don't know. What would you say to them just to encourage them as they make that decision tonight?
I'd say don't waste time. And I'd say go ahead if you can, pay for the whole year up front, because you know what? You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And it's an investment in your future. And I feel like, you owe it to yourself, and whether it's your artwork, your business, or your spiritual life, because I'll tell you what, one of the things that drew me into this was the spiritual aspect of all of it. It's hard to find it's hard to find an art community that you can really hook up with. I hate to say this, but that's not just weird.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, the artists are out there. They're all, and I'm one of them. One of those. So
we're all a little quirky on the side.
Yeah, we are all quirky. But the thing is to have that Christian community that has a purpose. Like, I live my life every day now with intention because of this course, because of showing me the spiritual significance behind my artwork, and that when you align yourself with what God's called you to do, things fall into place. Things happen. Mountains are moved. It's wonderful.
Supernatural, and beyond what we could plan or imagine. Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. This class it's the best money I have ever spent on myself.
Lori, we could just stop now if we didn't have two other people to talk to tonight. This just fills my heart. I'd just be like, done, just done. But Lori, thank you for being on tonight and just sharing your story and just saying yes to God and keeping going with what He's doing. I can't wait to see what happens this year as you continue to do that and step into that flow. So.
Thank you. And thank you so much for your program. Thank you for all of that you do. And thanks for having me on and for the revelation to see what God says you are, who God says you are, and agree with that.
Yeah.
Go forward in that vision.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lori, and go Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah,
all right.
go Dogs.
All right. See you, my friend. Bye-bye.
Bye.